Hi, and welcome into another edition of Music Fanimal here on Fanimal Radio. I'm Tony Lombardi. My special guest this week is Chris Diller and his little buddy Sky, who, look how coordinated we are. Wasn't even planned. So,
Nope.
Sky and Chris, welcome in.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for the
Good
invite.
to have you. So, you know, on Music Fanimal, the first part is usually we try to get to know our guest and just learn a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and that sort of thing. So, tell us a little bit about Chris Diller.
Okay, well, grew up not too far away from here, northern Baltimore County, Hereford. So not a bad place to grow up, not a bad place to play loud music.
Yeah,
when you're,
no one's
you're
around.
starting out. Yeah. So was in a band for a while, started playing solo as a one-man band act probably around 2013, 2014, and just kept rolling. Play between here, DC, Virginia, the beach, Eastern Shore. So it's been a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Where are you living now?
I'm downtown, Baltimore.
Okay.
So right down the street from my normal Friday night gig, which is Don't Know Tavern. That's a big reason why it kind of took off. You know, a lot of support from the friends there. And,
Right.
It's been a sort of a whirlwind. Yeah.
So, what would you say influenced you to get into music, and at what age did you do that?
I don't know. I think I've always been into music. My parents were more into country music.
Okay.
And I've always been a fan, but you know, when you're starting off, I guess whatever it is about your parents playing country music, you kind of want to fight it, you know. And coming back to it now, that's kind of where that came from. But I've always loved the Beatles. I know we both share that influence. So just always been into music. It's just been a passion of mine.
So Beatles, and who else would you say are some of your musical influences?
Tom Petty's probably number one. Beatles.
That was a tough loss.
Leonard Skinner. Yeah. And that was a sad one, too. I never got to see him play. So that was bad. I mean, I know we played Baltimore maybe a few weeks. I don't know if you caught that show.
I did.
You did?
I did.
So that one was tough for me. But, yeah, Tom Petty, always been great. Leonard Skinner and CCR. A lot of Southern and classic rock.
Good stuff.
Big influence, yeah.
So does that translate into the music, your original music?
I think so. Okay. I mean, these days I'm more like folk, alternative country style. Mm-hmm. So I kind of infuse a lot of different influences that I've always had, but I'd say more of a singer-songwriter style now. With my one-man band set up, I usually have drums at my feet, so it's sort of like a songwriting tool. So it's more of a singer-songwriter.
So what's Sky's involvement with your little group?
Sky, he's a good boy. He usually sits on stage with me. Whenever the venue's rules apply, you know, we got to respect the rules.
Right.
But if not, we leave him home. But he was in the control room the entire recording sessions, all the recording from the last 2 years of the new album that came out over the summertime.
Okay.
Which is called Mother Nature Would Say, and he's on the album artwork. He's just been such a good boy. So we're really lucky to have this guy.
You have to send me some pictures so we can share that with our audience.
Sure. Yeah.
Of the album cover. So talk about the album, where it was recorded, how long it took, and how people can get a hold of it.
The album took us 2 years to record. So a little place over here, right off of Falls Road, my buddy Greg Parker has his own studio out there, and it's actually an old converted barn, which is a really great place to work. It's got on a beautiful property. I think it was, it was somebody else's studio, and he kind of took over once they left for California, but it was just such an awesome place. We recorded about 20 songs or so, and we stuck with 10 for the record. So that came out Memorial Day weekend, and it's called Mother Nature Would Say. So Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, all that stuff.
You're going to play a few of them for us today, right?
Sure, yeah.
All right, let's take a little break, and we'll listen to your first of 3 songs today.
It's just a rock that is spinning through space, around another that shines on your face. Think ahead if it helps, but you're gone without a trace. Think back and slow down, but that's a waste. Did you know that it'll take time to make time? I say yes, but never guess how long. Did you know you had everything right from the start? You know it's Fanimal's 3 house. That's a lot of love coming If you balk, if you buy, you can weave on it. Oh, if you start it off right, you can still go rebel. Think about the love you intend to give. Think about the love that you let in. Did you know that it'll take time to make time? I say yes, but never guess how long. Did you know you had everything right from the start? You know it's sad on those 3 hours. That's a lot of love coming back to you, honey. I want you to rest easy without a worry. I want you to be easy, I'ma stay hungry. That's a lot of love, that's a lot of love. That's a lot of love coming back to you, honey. I want you to rest easy without a worry. I want you to be easy, but stay hungry. That's a lot of love. That's a lot of love coming back to you, honey. I want you to rest easy without a worry. I want you to be easy, but stay hungry. That's a lot of love. 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 That's a lot of love.
Welcome back into Music Fanimal here on Fanimal Radio. Our special guest this week is Chris Diller, and he just performed for us 3 Hearts. So talk about that a little bit.
3 Hearts is a song that just kind of came about during a trip to the aquarium of all places.
Okay.
So 3 Hearts is the title of the song, but my wife and I were walking through. We had free tickets through her work, and we were going past this exhibit with an octopus tank, the exhibit there, and there was a big, I guess like a field trip of some sort. So there was a leader of the group, and she says, "Guys, did you know that this animal has 3 hearts?" And this little girl just like freaks out, puts her face up against the glass and says, "Whoa, that's a lot of love."
Ah, nice.
And I don't know, that's just kind of a song I just kind of stuck in my head. I turned it into a love song, but that line really hit me, and it was like the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. So as a songwriter, I wrote that one down.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's where it came from.
So how do you get inspired to write? I mean, is there any formula that you follow, or is it just that something sparks an idea like that did?
Yeah, it's a lot of like that. I mean, I think most songwriters can relate. They'll just like be walking around, somebody says something, and it just kind of sticks, or maybe you thought of that as a song, and maybe it's just a line or a phrase might hit you a certain way. Maybe later on you write it down. So as far as formula goes, there's no real formula that I go to. I just kind of have a guitar, I stick with it,
Right.
and then it just comes about.
Now, one of the things, or one of the reasons why we even have this Music Fanimal, Chris, is that as someone who loves music, I'm a little frustrated that talents like yourself don't get noticed as much as they should be, and then you hear on national radio programs artists that probably shouldn't be on there. So talk about that as being a local artist, and what's the best way for you to put yourself out there?
That is a tough question. I think in this area, there's just a ridiculous amount of talented musicians. So I think playing out as much as you can, giving out as much free music as you can. Also, I guess being nice, I think, is one way of just being nice to people. I mean,
Right.
a lot of people musicians, they get a bad rap sometimes, and playing a show, if you're just kind to everyone, that kind of just what goes around comes around. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm just a local guy, so not taking no for an answer when you're trying to find a gig, being motivated in that department too is a big help. But I think that's really all I can have to contribute to that conversation.
What are some of the best undiscovered local talents that you've seen? That people don't know about them that well, but you're like, this guy or this girl,
Yeah.
she should be doing a lot better than she's doing.
I got to say, I play a lot of music down at the beach on the Eastern Shore, like Dewey Beach and Ocean City. There's just so many great people coming out of there. For one, my buddy Sammy Capilongo, he's really good. He works with a loop station, which I'm sure you've seen those before, but one of the more talented artists I've ever seen use that thing. Locally, we have our good friends, the Pips. They play with their buddy Zach as a 3-piece sometimes. So
No Gladys Knight?
no.
I'm dating
sure.
myself. Gladys
sure.
Knight and the Pips.
Oh yeah. Well, the Pips are good friends of ours, so we'll shout out to those guys. We're pretty tight.
Okay. So, what's a night like? I know you have a unique setup, which you're going to share with us today, but talk about a night watching Chris Diller, because I've seen you perform at a friend's wedding, Chelsea and Nick Cloyd, and I thought it was really interesting because you played, and then when you weren't playing, you morphed into the DJ.
Well, that's just by default. I think when we play weddings, a lot of requests that the bride and groom has, we kind of satisfy that with the DJ.
I got
booth,
you.
know?
Okay.
For the live setup, though, I can't say that I'm really particularly great at one thing, whether it be singing or guitar or drums. But somehow I, like I said a little earlier, just like a songwriting tool. I do it all together. And whether or not people like it, the conversation is there's like they're almost like doing a double take look at what's going on there. So that sparks a conversation. I think we kind of infuse a lot of different songs too in our genre wise. Mm-hmm. So we'll play one from the 90s, we'll play a country song from the 90s, and then we'll switch it up to a more modern song. So I think that is what you can expect, at least just to be entertained instrumentally. Like I play with my brother too, bass player. So he's actually really great at his instrument. So he does one thing and he focuses on it. I'm kind of doing like a multitasking thing. So that's really it.
We're going to play another one for us. What's this one called?
This is a song called Feed My Soul.
Okay. Feed My Soul, Chris Diller.
Summer's over, this town is bolted down. Soon those city folk won't be coming round. Lay down whiskey in the bar, close the door. Rain so hard, there's a river on the floor. Hate to let those early days of fall go. These nights they feed my soul. Hate to let the road we travel still show. These nights they feed my soul. It smells like smoke, good times, another world. The sun is fading, so are songbirds. Lay one down, we all went a little too far. I woke up in the morning holding my guitar. Hate to let those early days of fall go. These nights they feed my soul. Hate to let the road we travel still show. These nights they feed my soul. Only strangers back in early spring. It's 4 in the morning, passing around a 6 string. And no one dares to lay down to fall asleep. Play something from the heart while I kick up my feet. I hate to let those early days of fall go. These nights they feed my soul. stars that feed my soul.
Nicely done, Chris. Feed my soul.
Thank you.
So this is the part of the show I ask some silly questions like, and let's start with the one I always seem to ask. You're on a desert island by yourself. You get to take one album with you. Just one. What's it going to be?
That is a tough one. I think if I had to nail it down, it would probably be the Wildflowers album, Tom Petty. Mm-hmm. And if I got two, am I allowed?
You can sneak one in.
I've always said that Californication, which is the first album that I've ever owned, the Chili Peppers.
Right.
That one is the best, I think, in my opinion, of the Chili Peppers. And on a desert island, it's got a little bit of an island feel there. So between Wildflowers and Californication, those are my
Wildflowers.
two.
I love that album. And that's like from start to finish, every one of those songs. There's not a dud in the whole thing.
That's right. And I think my stance on that one is it doesn't happen all the time when bands get, better. Tom Petty's more like a songwriter, but that just, that was later on in his career. It was like the 90s, 94, I think. Mm-hmm. And it was from, like you said, start to finish. Every song is great and well written. So
it's got a great flow to it.
Absolutely.
A little bit of everything in there. Really.
Yeah, and it's like rock and roll. Even that song Wildflowers, I play that out live sometimes. And that's just, it goes from, from rock and roll to like folk, indie folk, and singer-songwriter.
Cabin Down Below.
Yeah, I love it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, a couple other silly questions. The one song that you like that no one else seems to like?
I don't know if this is going to hit well, but the song that everyone loves, really, but a lot of, I guess, when I play venues sometimes, they're like, can you please just not play that song? We're sick of it and I hate it. Wagon Wheel is a song that I love, but for whatever reason, people, it's the music venue, or if it's the guy doing the sound, it's like, please, please, please. I've heard it too many times, but that song is so great. And I learned a little bit about it. Like, Dylan wrote the chorus in the 70s, and his writing partner wrote the verses, 25 years later.
Okay.
And for that, it's just a great song overall, but the history of it, that's one of my favorites.
What's a song that everyone seems to love, but you don't love?
I think my ears aren't trained yet to the hip-hop fusion with country music, or the hip-hop or the R&B style. There's a song on the radio that plays like 10 times in 1 hour. It's the Body Like a Back Road. Do you know that song?
No.
No? Well, I don't have anything against it. My ears aren't trained for it.
It just doesn't mesh together for you.
Yeah, for me, it's not my thing.
There's a lot of those songs that they've done too, right?
Yeah, and it's worked, in some cases. Right. That's like a hit or miss for me. I either hit next or I'll take a peek.
Speaking of hitting next, what's the most embarrassing song on your iPod?
I like Hanson, Bop. Do you know that one?
I do. And it's funny because we've asked that question several times, and that's been a common answer. Actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess then, maybe everyone...
I've heard those guys are really talented.
They are, definitely. That song...
And you wonder, that almost crippled them, really, because they were pigeonholed into a genre because of that song.
Yeah, you're right. I never thought about it, but that's sort of like if you want just something driving down the highway and something to get you up, that's the one.
Okay.
For me.
All right, Nirvana or Pearl Jam?
I like Eddie better.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam.
You sound a little bit like him.
You think so?
I do.
Well, that is a huge compliment. Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you very much.
Okay, last question for you. Super Bowl prediction.
I got to go with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
What about you?
I picked the Saints from the very start.
Really?
And Pressbox does this thing where they ask people in the media about who they thought would win the Super Bowl, and I said the Saints at the very beginning. So I'm going to stick with that, although they were a little iffy yesterday against the Eagles.
Well, a win's a win, right?
A win is a win.
And
they're playing at home against the Rams.
That would be a nice...
They have a good defense against the run, and the Rams brought it to the Cowboys.
Yeah, you might be
over
right on
200.
this one.
So I have the Saints, and I think the Chiefs will beat the Patriots. So but
I
I'm
hope
gonna-
so too.
I'm gonna
I'm
stick with
rooting
the
for
Saints.
Andy Reid. I think it'd be cool for him to get one.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
All right. Gonna do one more.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tony.
Let people
Appreciate
know
it.
how they can find your stuff, Facebook, your website, or whatever.
Okay, ChrisDillerMusic.com. Facebook has links to everything on YouTube and Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon. So Mother Nature Would Say is a brand new album, and hope you all like it.
And you play regularly at, I don't know?
Don't Know Tavern.
Don't Know
Corner
Tavern.
of Fort and Light Street. Summertime's booked up down the Eastern Shore and all around locally in Baltimore and Virginia. So ChrisDillerMusic.com has a big long list of shows, so hope to see you all out there.
Good stuff. Thanks for
All
joining
right,
us,
thank
Chris.
you.
It's been about 2 hours now, and if my memory allows, time to settle down. You start off at Stack Street, she kickers on my feet, bosses across Ford Avenue. The older that I get, the money that I spend, of course it's when money to be made. Raging bitches, car bombs, karaoke, drunk songs. I treat myself and I'm getting paid. Whiskey will get you, tequila kills you, at least that's what I've coming home. Come from a small town, from whenever I found it makes me feel right at home. I've been drinking and fell right again. I've been drinking and fell right again. It's probably my favorite bar. It's just a hole in the wall, and I was down bound way home. Girls request the love songs, and we do something so wrong. We march up and steal the microphone. Mr. Nevin hates it. He's always throwing a fit. Oh, that day should have seen his face. Yes, I did it again. You come with me, my friend. I got friends in low places. Whiskey will get you, tequila kills you. At least that's what I've coming home. Come from a small town, and from whenever I found it makes me feel right at home.